My opinion on Canadian citizens and their role during the pandemic. As a Canadian, I am concerned about the lack of respect for one another's freedom that has developed throughout the world and our homeland. Whatever happened to freedom of thought, belief, choice, and expression? Values that we hold on so deeply to everyone in the West. It's the main reason why so many people immigrate here, leaving their home country. In the course of the pandemic, Canadians demonstrated their patriotism by stating if you don't comply with the public health guidelines, you are scorned, you are branded in society. As a result, we have transformed our family members, friends, neighbors into shallow sages who need to change and strive for the greatest good of our community, our culture, or else. The or else part is what bugs me. What happens? What happens to our brothers and sisters who want to have an independent belief or choice about their body? It's excellent for you to hold someone to a particular moral position using influential manipulation tactics, since it'll make you feel better about yourself, about your position. You conformed to the government. Totally okay. I am pro-vaccine. I think you should get the vaccine. But as many parents are aware, bullying your kids into doing anything rarely works in the long run. Have fun in retirement. As a result of the moral standpoint people have adopted, there's no respect for people's individual decisions. In some cases, you may hear phrases such as, oh no, she or they don't have the vaccine. What an idiot. I hope they die. Or, you really believe mandates should not be put in place? Or, watch what will happen when anti-vax... If only anti-vaxxers would listen and understand, then everything would be okay. I ask, are we okay? Are we sure we're okay with our mental status? The mental state of our culture at the moment is filled with thought police, hate, judgment. We all know what a crazy parent can do to kids when they're micromanaging, helicoptering the kid. They go insane, as we see right now with the trucker freedom convoy. These are all things that we should stop doing. As it stands, the vaccine has single-handedly decimated, divided, and judged our society. It is the ultimate virtue and criteria in our society. Acquiring this foggy virtue is a challenge. When it comes to your health, why would you engage in an activity you're not completely convinced about? It is not completely clear what virtue the vaccine is promoting for people to acquire. Is it generosity? Is it just the ethics? Is it helpfulness? Is it integrity, justice, kindness, love, responsibility? Now, I could agree with a multiple of those. But with no clear idea of what virtue we want enough people to practice, I can see why people are not eager to jump on board and practice it. We're not being honest with people. I want to pause and ask, what virtues should Canada follow, and how should we know they are the best? How do we determine best in our society? More than ever, it seems like Canadians are either moving toward the default setting of comply with the majority or be labeled a fool, with an emphasis on the fool part, or towards a side that believes the government lies and wants to ruin our lives. To be honest, both camps have points that are valid and invalid. Each side has its own reasons, though. Now, my question for this article is, should those reasons be evaluated and deemed stupid? Should you lose your right to think for yourself? Or should you have time to think about it enough? Let's investigate. In the first place, how did these ideas come to you that you wanted to get the vaccine? It's quite strange, isn't it? Like, it's weird how we get ideas that would pop in our head. We think they're our own, but like they magically pop in there. You may have heard it on the news when COVID first started. And depending on where you are or who you are, you may have interpreted it differently. You may have been scared for various reasons. You could have said, my grandma is already ill, now this. And you were already in this bubble of being super cautious around safety and being able to follow the guidelines to a T because you have to. It could have been that you were scared of losing your job as soon as you heard it, or being out of work. Whatever the reason, when the government dropped the bomb on us that we were in a pandemic, it shocked us in various ways, all differently though. It's important to note that we reacted differently because we are all different individuals due to past karmas or past experience or past forces that are dictating our lives. They're uncontrollable forces that are dictating our lives. As a country is defined by its citizens. It is not the government that defines it. The government shouldn't have to pick a side. We as a collective should listen to the people who are smarter than us, and I hope that the rest does the same. I recognize that. However, what we're most proud of every person in Canada is that we live free as we wish. We are the commander of our own fate. This is what we should be proud of. We get to live this life on Earth by our own, technically, our fate. Obviously, there's rules that we have to follow, but they're not that bad. You get some free choice in some sense. You can take actions today that can cause great or bad implications down the road. The pandemic was already so negative that I was surprised by the way Canadians handled this effort to deal with the pandemic. We just made it worse than it needed to be by harassing each other's belief systems. At this point, Canada is physically free, but not mentally free. We are enslaved to thinking a certain way without any alternatives. So Canadians are rebelling. Just be clear, vaccines do work. By the way we are asking fellow neighbors, families, and friends to get vaccinated is ruthless and inhuman. All of it may feel like it's coming from a loving place, but if you really loved and cared about the people around you, you wouldn't bend them to your beliefs. Love is about patience. Love is about not judging or bloating who you are. It's about understanding the person individually, who that person is, instead of painting them with a brush. I do believe that people who don't want the vaccine should be given more time and understanding before we jump to quick conclusions about how they should live their lives, starting with mandates. I think mandates have to go, and I'm really excited to see that on March 1st, they are being lifted. No one should be forced to do anything they don't want to do. Thank you for listening.